Hey everybody, unscripted video today. Tomorrow there's going to be an update where we play the public test of the Tenosian Invasion update. I'm going to be doing this at my Twitch live at 1:30 p.m. Eastern, so if you want to see that, by all means come by. But they also released the patch notes, which we'll be going over in just, right now. Alright, so let's go over this. There's a lot to unpack, and we're going to try and discuss it all in detail. The biggest update for Chivalry 2. The Tenosian Invasion update brings warriors to a new theater of war. Yeah, whatever. For anybody who doesn't know, the Tenosians were in the Chivalry 1 trailer. Actually, hold on.
King Argon grew restless with the peace. After uniting the lands of Agatha beneath his banner, the king declared a crusade upon the strange lands to the south. Yet his blind ambition would be his undoing, for the crusade failed, and the harsh desert sands soon became his grave. His death left the army and nation without a leader.
Okay, so that was Tenosia. They went to Tenosia. Ride to war on horseback with all-new mounted combat system. And console players can now ruin dual servers by going to the server browser and not understanding how that works. I'm sure this will go completely fine. Update highlights. Steam. Woohoo! Really odd choice to release the Steam version of the game and not have the Epic Game Store cross progression available yet. That's coming in the next update. So anybody who wants to get off the Epic Game Store will have to either throw away their progress or wait for the update to be able to transfer it over. You know, whatever. Horses. New playable faction, the Tenosian faction. Woohoo! 4 new maps, 2 team objective maps and 2 team deathmatch maps. Wow, we're already just kicking Mordhau to the ground, huh? Added achievements for PC players and Epic Game Store on Steam. Console server browser, large amounts of balanced combat improvements. I'll be the fucking judge of that. Tenosia, the strange lands to the south, have long hovered as a distant threat over the lands of Agatha. They are best known to Chivalry 2012 players as the target of a failed crusade that led to the death of King Argon I. Tenosia therefore played a key role in igniting the civil war between the Mason Order and Agatha Knights.
And in the ensuing chaos, the king's top military commander seized the opportunity to claim the empty throne. When the remainder of the crusading army returned home, they discovered much had changed.
Now the Serpent Empire emerges from the shadows, intent on sinking their fangs into the barbarous lands of the north. Ride to war on horseback as the Tenosia or the Mason Order. Okay, so it's the Masons versus Tenosia, which is interesting. People thought it was going to be Agatha, but I guess that would make more sense, wouldn't it? With this new faction comes a variety of customization additions. When playing for Tenosia, expect visual and audio differences in armor, helmet, weapon skins, heraldry, new voices, and more. Horseback combat. Horses are currently only present in the new maps featured in this update. For team objective maps featuring horses, players will receive a prompt to join the cavalry, allowing them to spawn on a horse during the next wave of cavalry. These spawns are limited and players will be selected randomly. Horses can be found on the map for itself for players to mount. Okay, so this strikes me a little bit like Battlefield, where you're just gonna kind of pick to spawn as a horse, except instead of picking it on the map, you're just going to get a prompt that says, "Hello, would you like to spawn as a horse player?" Okay. For team deathmatch maps featuring horses, God, players will be randomly selected to spawn with a horse upon death. God, up to 12 horses can be present at one time. God, horse movement and attacks. Horses can kick opponents in front and behind them with jab and kick. How does a horse kick in front of them? I suppose they would be able to do that, but horses kick a lot better backwards. Horses have various states of speed. Once a horse reaches gallop, after naturally increasing its running speed, the rider is able to knock over opponents similar to how players get tackled on foot. As the horse builds up speed, the harder it will be to turn with the horse. Turning the horse involves looking where you want to go using the mouse or control sticks. Using sprint inputs will cause the horse to reach full gallop and build even more speed. Sure hope it's not as obnoxious as it was in Mordhau. Anybody who played Mordhau on launch knows exactly what I mean. Weapons on horseback. Standard weapons can attack normally while on horseback. As the rider moves, the weapon's damage output will multiply based on the horse's speed. All melee weapon-based attacks will receive this multiplier. I sure hope it goes into the horse as well. Morehow made that mistake where they had one-sided damage, and so horses can do 100 damage in one hit, and people do like 20 damage to the horse. That was fun. Surely Chivalry 2 wouldn't make the same mistake, right? A few weapons have a different special attack while on horseback. The Highland Sword has a low sweeping attack to the right side, the two-handed sword has a hard-hitting stab attack, and the lance has crouching. Players will spawn with a lance in hand during the cavalry spawn wave. Once a gallop is reached, attack inputs will turn into a focused, constantly active horizontal state known as crouching. If aimed accurately, the rider will deal massive damage to the opponent. A player can input a timed lunge for extra damage during this state. I sure hope that's not broken, but you know what? Even if it is, point down here is going to help. Crouching will cause the player's stamina to drain over time. If there's not enough stamina, a normal stab attack will be used instead. The lance will break after 3 successful hits. The player's primary weapon will be drawn in its place. Okay, so even if it is broken, you only get 3, and you're not going to pick up a new lance while on horseback. New 52-player maps. What do you mean 52 players? The Breach of Baudwin. Built by the Agathian commander of the same name during King Argon's rule and fall, the long-standing bulwark separates the lands of the north and south. No army has ever attempted to break through until now. It looks like a really good map, honestly. Or at the very least, it looks pretty. It's a very pretty map. Bringing with them firepower unheard of, the Tenosians breach the town's gate and markets in an attempt to blast through the bulwark with bombastic bombards, a demonstration of their engineering prowess. As Tenosia, attackers must clear the following objectives. Objective 1, push the siege ramp to the wall. Objective 2, destroy the ballistas and catapults. Objective 3, capture the market. Objective 4, take control of the town hall. Objective 5, push the bombardments, load them, and fire at the bulwark. I'm very confused on how that's going to play. This map will feature cavalry waves during certain objectives. That looks really, really good. Like, that's just a really pretty map. The Raising of Askandir. Reacting to their call for war against the north, the Masons set sail to the port city of Askandir to demolish the city lighthouse and set the Tenosian library ablaze. As the Masons, the attackers must complete the objectives in the following order. Objective 1, destroy the lighthouse with petards. Tenosians can disarm them. Okay, so you have to carry them and then they can disarm them. That's a good change of pace. Objective 2, take control of the bridge. Objective 3, push over the city columns. More pushing over columns and stones. Objective 4, dismantle the astrolabes. Or is it astrolabs? I'm not sure. Objective 5, burn the library bookshelves. Tenosians can use water jugs to put out the fires. I'm really happy to see more interaction from the defending team. Thank goodness. I really want things on the defense team to be more engaging. This map will feature cavalry waves during certain objectives. Desert, team deathmatch. This map looks pretty decent. Battle on the outskirts of Baudwin in the dark, cold night. After the fall of the bulwark, the Tenosians regroup for another assault, only to be greeted by the Mason Order's vengeful front force. Players will fight each other in the ruins with cavalry support. A lone ballista is present in the middle. Taking control of the ballista will increase the odds of achieving victory. Well, that sounds fun. The Charge of Wardenglade. Fuck. This map is not present in the public test. It's just Wardenglade with horses. Great. Aberfell. Fixed an exploit where the rock walls could be jumped over without knocking them down. You just jump? Is that an exploit? Fixed an issue where accepting the Mason forward spawn would drop players off a small cliff. Fixed an issue where the toppled stones would not replicate properly when joining mid-match. Fixed an issue where the tower would still explode even if defenders successfully defended it. Thank goodness they fixed that. It was really silly. Fixed an issue where switching to Agatha during the warm-up timer sequence would sometimes place the player underwater. Oh, I loved that bug. Fixed an issue where pigs and peasants could be interacted with after the first objective. How dare they fix that one? Fixed an issue where throwing pigs and peasants near the water near the main boat would successfully count as a capture. Coxwell objective balance changes. They just changed a bunch of health and timers and stuff to make it more balanced between 40-player and 64-player. Fix an exploit where engineers could scale up a tree during the last objective to avoid combat. Fix an exploit where Agathians could avoid the out-of-combat prompt on spawn during the last objective. Due to player feedback, we've implemented a number of changes to Coxwell's balance to ensure an enjoyable experience. These changes primarily focus on giving defenders tools better to defend. It's a 64-player mode. We've made it easier for defenders. For the 40-player mode, the last objective now scales so that attackers have to kill less defenders for the objective completion. Okay, good. Fallmire. Just at the out-of-combat zone during the last objective for smoother transition. Fixed an issue where the warm-up cinematic and first spawns wouldn't trigger. Yeah, you guys kind of fucked that up. I'm ashamed to see that the water hasn't been adjusted, where you, like, dip your toe in and instantly die. But I guess it's a funny joke. Fighting Pit. Fixed an issue where players could survive falling in the spike pits. Fixed a spawn point that would allow players to fire projectiles from the air in free-for-all. Okay. Great Hall. Fixed an issue where the lighting was unintentionally dark on PS5. Fixed a ragdoll issue on Lionspire. Fixed an issue where shooting an arrow from one after the other would cause the player to disconnect from the match. Huh? How? Whatever. Team auto balance adjustments. Auto balance begins at the start of the match. Probably a good idea. Before the match starts, there can be a difference of 2 players when switching teams. Auto balance will not happen during the last map's objective stage. Auto balance has been noted as frustration for players. Part of the solution to make sure that team switching after the game begins is minimal is make for players that aren't unexpectedly switched to the opposite team during the last part of the match. We are looking for further solutions to address additional feedback we received from team balance as well. Okay. Again, I'm gonna restate what I said in my other video. You can watch that other video if you'd like. Part of the issue with team balance is that many people don't want to play on defense because defense isn't very fun. Let's use Dark Forest as the best example. Defense is stronger than attack on almost every map in this game, including Dark Forest. But more often than not, you're going to be on the map and you're going to get steamrolled for 90% of it, and then you're going to get to the last stage and you're going to win. And then the attacking team feels unfulfilled and the defending team doesn't feel very good because they just got fucking steamrolled for the last 30 minutes. Really, the whole... I think every map needs to have more interaction. I'm happy to see the new maps have seemingly more interaction, where the defenders can actually do things and engage in interesting gameplay. So hopefully we get to see more of that. Hopefully they go back and they tweak some of the old objectives as well. You know, things like that. New customization. Peasant caps for the Agathian and Mason team. Tenosian archer armor, Tenosian footman armor, Tenosian helmets, and Tenosian heavy helmets. Okay, so interesting thing. If you weren't aware, there's only light armor and heavy armor in the new update for the new faction. So archers and vanguards are going to look the same, and footmen and knights are going to look the same. I think that's going to get really messy really fast, but we'll see. Maybe they'll have a good way to define the two. Hopefully, we'll find out, won't we? We will find out, won't we? We're going to see. Let's hope. New dagger skin, Damascus, ivory, and jeweled. That sounds nice. Falchion skins might be nice. Shields. Okay, timed Steam exclusives. Fortunately, you're going to have to go buy the game on Steam to get that. I can get my funny helmet for owning Chivalry 1 and putting in like 2,500 hours. Thank goodness. Tenosia voices. There's 4 of them. Oh, maybe they'll have it so the voices are unique to each class. So like this is the archer, this is the vanguard, this is the footman, and this is the knight, and they can't be switched between them. That might be a good way to differentiate the classes. It worked before. Bonus damage is now shown on the UI. Good. That's fine. Disarm, it has increased cooldown. Good. You know, you can no longer jab or dash out of getting disarmed really easily. There's an expectation at higher level play that the effort and skill involved around reducing stamina to 0 should reward a free hit. Currently, players have a chance to avoid by dodging out. For disarming rules, we are now making it easier to land the free hit as a reward. Good. That's a good thing, because now that means that, you know, you can actually kill people. Horn overheal changes. The horn special item will now overheal a certain amount based on a given player's class. Archers, 10 health. Thank fucking God that archers will no longer have 110 health out of 90. Thank God they can actually fucking die now. It's about time. It's about fucking time that they can actually be killed. Jesus. Vanguard, 15 health. Makes sense. Footman, 20 health. That's the previous value. Okay. Knights get 25 health. Probably good, because I did the math on that once and I realized that knights get the least bonus because... Alright, so if knights are taking like 25% or 50% more damage from axes and hammers, their 20 health is going to go a lot less of a distance than even the Vanguard's 15 health. This is, it's a good change. I'm happy they did this, but you know, this is good. Until now, Overheal has been given a standard bonus health value regardless of class. The survivability of archers and vanguards is slightly higher than expected for certain weapon types, while knights are a bit weaker. Changing the overheal values will bring this vision more in line. We will continue to monitor this balance going forward. Yeah, make this fucking 5. They get nothing. Actually, if you made this 5, they would still live from a warbow torso shot. Sprint charges. Sprint charge attack turn rate limit has been tightened from 65 to 70. Good. Sprint tackle turn rate limit has been tightened from 70 to 72.5. Good. Fixed an exploit where players could jump during the beginning of the sprint charge. My funny move is gone! I really liked that move, you know? I liked that, you know? Okay, I'll take it. These changes allow dashes to be more reliable when dodging sprint attacks. It is noted by the community testers that sprint charge attacks have a very wide turn limit and can be difficult to read or react to. The changes here aim to make this a bit more consistent. Please note the higher percentages means that the angle is reduced. Good. I hope 5% is enough, but we'll see, because it's kind of hard to equate percentage value into, like, actual visible information. Turn cap changes. Turning while inputting special attacks and stab attacks has been made tighter. Higher number equals tighter turn cap. Special attacks. Increased default special turn cap from 47 to 50. Increased one-handed special turn cap from 47.5 to 55. Increased two-handed special attack turn cap from 47.5 to 60. This is a good change. It's going to make my life harder, but it's a good change. Basically, this means that it's going to be harder to, like, track somebody who dodges a special attack. So if you input a special attack and somebody dodges it to the side, which is what you're supposed to do, it's going to be a lot harder to, like, follow them. I'm sure you can still do it, but it's going to be harder. Increased stab turn cap from 47 to 52. Increased heavy stab turn cap from 50 to 55. Okay, so I'm not going to read the numbers anymore. It's going to be harder to aim the greatsword stab. Highland sword. It's easier to aim the normal stab and harder to aim the heavy stab. Messer stab. Harder to aim. Good. Oh, I actually misinterpreted this earlier when I skimmed through. It's now harder to aim the two-handed spear, and it's harder to aim this two-handed spear as well. Or, I'm sorry, it's harder to aim the two-handed spear, and it's harder to aim the one-handed spear now. Good. Good. Glad to see it. Lance, increase the stabs on it to make it harder to aim. Good. I'm glad that this has been adjusted. New siege equipment added. Bombards. Must be loaded with cannonballs found on the map. So it's like a catapult kind of thing, except it's a cannon. That's rad. I hope it's not obnoxious. Increase the height of the parry box to make blocking jump attacks more reliable. Oh, I bet people are gonna be happy about this one. I know I am. I never even, like, had an issue with parrying, like, jump stabs, but I sure am glad it's being, changed. Thank goodness. That's gonna alleviate a lot of people's frustration. Increased collision of hanging traps. Good. Constructibles now cause a thwack upon collision. I don't know what that means. Added a class limit to engineers. Oh, boy. There existed an exploit where jumping with some long weapons at certain angles allowed for hits through blocking. We've adjusted the height of the parry box and will continue to monitor further exploits. Good. Glad to hear that kind of stuff. We've increased the appeal of engineers by reviewing their place with the community testers. Well, with players being able to hit players behind walls and being able to destroy multiple walls easily, we've adjusted the constructible collision's overall thwack on hit. This means that your attack will hit constructibles and finish instead of cleaving, giving an overall buff to them. Oh boy, that sounds tough. That's gonna make, like, Thorn really tough. To make sure engineers stay balanced, we've added a class limit of 12.5. A team of 32 can have 4 per team. You mean to tell me that there are less engineers allowed than archers? My God. You're not even gonna make it the archer limit? Like, there can be 6 archers per team, but you can only have 4 engineers? What the hell are you talking about? I mean, that should at least be, I guess. Alright, the real solution here is to lower the archer limit down to 4. That's a good move, I think. I think we should lower the archer limit down to 4. That would fix this problem. Then it wouldn't be weird. Yeah, let's do that one. Hornbanner, please hear me. You can't really, like, increase the, you can't increase this to, like, 6, because I just thought about, like, 6 engineers, like, doing the objective with this and, like, putting down walls. That sounds grotesque and horrible. So that's probably not a good thing. Fix an issue where aim would be offset by specific spawn points. Fix an issue where arrows and bolts could disarm a player blocking with a shield at 0 stamina. Good, glad they fixed that. That's actually really nice. Now when you lose all your stamina trying to block an archer, at least you won't be fucking disarmed. Fix an issue where healing banner would stop granting score after player death. I don't think that's true, but I guess if they fixed it, then sure. Fixed a keyblind exploit where Vanguard's leaping attack could be done infinitely. I thought they fixed that one too. Fixed an issue where the plank special attack would only do 15 damage. I thought that was intentional. Implemented a fix to reduce the frequency of weapons becoming invisible during combat. Good. Projectiles now more consistently hit their targets. Good. New carryables, books, sensor, chamber pots. Haha. Clay pots. What is this gonna be like a chamber pot with the handle? Like, am I gonna be able to hit somebody with a fucking chamber pot? That sounds good. Lamp, leather balls. metal pourer, metal scrolls, plates, sandals, shoes, teacups, teapots, Tenosian metal pots, watermelons, and water jars. I'm really interested in beating somebody up with a sandal, like some sort of Spanish mother. Crossbow, reduced damage output from 65 to 50. You serious? They really did that? Hold on, let's do some math. All right, math time. The crossbow now does 67.5 damage to footmen and 75 damage to knights. Now, I'm gonna be honest here, that sounds kind of useless, but headshot damage would like get better with that. Like if you hit somebody in the head with that, that would do a lot more because of the multipliers and stuff. I'm really happy to see that, but it does seem a little bit useless compared to the warbow, but I will take any nerfs to any archer, please God. Let's go further. Warhammer balance adjustment. Reduced slash damage from 50 to 45, reduced heavy slash from 70 to 65, increased overhead wind-up time from 125 to 1.5, increased heavy wind-up time from 375 to 4. Communications with our testing group and examination of weapon metrics showed the Warhammer was as a very powerful weapon. Speed and damage in addition to stamina damage were slightly overtuned, and adjustments were made based on these discussions. I think that, I don't think Warhammer was too good. I thought Warhammer was fine as it was. It's a unique weapon to the Guardian class. I never found it to be too much. I never thought it was bad in any way, really. But I'm a little bit biased. I use long weapons. I'm able to easily exploit the Warhammer's biggest weakness. So I suppose, I don't exactly hate this nerf. I don't disagree with it. I just don't think it needed it. Whether it got nerfed or not, I don't really care. It's probably still good. With this damage, it's probably still good. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, I think. Like a polehammer slash 45 damage is a polehammer slash, and 65 on a heavy slash is better than the polehammer, so it's still good. Doesn't matter. It's not weak. It's not bad. It's gonna be just as powerful and just as good, I think. New Q, Tenosian Invasion. In order to maintain performance and integrity of match due to the addition of horses, Tenosian Invasion has been capped to 52 players. Well, this is gonna be really odd, really fast. New maps only. 64-player modes. New maps are not present in this queue. The following team objective maps will appear in this order to be more in line narratively. Lionspire, Galencourt, Aberfell. Okay. 40-player modes will have the new maps as well as the old maps. Okay, so 40-player mode is now the go-to. Got it. Beginner mode. Okay. Free-for-all has been moved to the server browser. Odd choice, but okay. Arena duels. Renamed Duel Queue to a 1v1 arena. Okay, don't care. Console players will now be able to access the server browser, which are separated from matchmaking servers under Play standalone servers. I'm glad they said that out loud so people might actually hear it. Just in case you weren't aware, the server browser servers are separate from the matchmaking servers, which is why if you go and you look, you'll see a bunch of empty team objective servers. And unfortunately, now that console players have the server browser, we might see more people going in there, which is going to split the player base between two types of servers. I think they should really fix that. I don't think they should be separated, but what do I know? This includes the dual yard servers, which were previously only allowed for PC players. The dual servers are an excellent way in testing your skills through a more impromptu environment. Dual servers have specific community-driven rules, such as do not randomly attack other duelists. When looking for a player to duel, flourish your weapon and wait for them to flourish back. If they do, they've accepted the duel. Avoid hitting other players in the middle of your duel. You guys should really just make the duel game mode. That'd probably be like idiot proof. I actually liked the Chivalry 1 duel game mode. But what do I know? I'm sure this little patch note listed right here is going to make every console player understand that they shouldn't just kill people at random. I'm sure this will go perfect. Game modes, last team standing. Combat zones have been made smaller for all maps. We noticed situations where final players would attempt to run from encounters and therefore extend the map amount of time between rounds. This ultimately gave a less enjoyable experience for those waiting for the next round. Yeah, okay, I can see that. Optimizations and crash fixes. Animations. It fixed an issue where players would float, added more visual variance to show damage on siege weapons, adjusted parry animation pitch to be more accurate in general, fixed an issue where javelin would not appear in first person, fix an issue with the Highland Sword special attack, fix an issue where blood and drunk post-processing effects would persist on map change. How? Improved lance animations, fix an issue where player position would offset when grabbing a ladder mid-air. Oh yeah, that was funny. Fix an issue where plank special attack animation would break after inputting from a riposte. I didn't know that one. Fix an issue where bows would occasionally sound like swords when melee attacking. Fix an issue where heartbeat audio would play during the new map traversal and remain. Added a new sound when blocking an arrow for any weapon with reduced damage. Okay. Evil Queen VO made screams less intense. Reduced the frequency of arrow cam hints. Fixed an issue where players would occasionally occasionally... Oh, fixed an inaccurate player count. Reworked customization UI. Tenosian UI elements added, overhaul UI and store tabs, general UI improvements, various localization. They should really add more options to like toggle on and off parts of the UI, I think, but what do I know? The addition of horses created an opportunity to visually distinct weapon damage numbers and how they connect to damage types against classes. Since bonus damage is given to players riding on horses at certain speeds, we have unified these to give more information to the player. Added achievements, added a keybind for novelty items equipment slot, fixed an exploit where VIP could be kicked for excessive T damage, resulting in the match being unable to be fully completed. Fixed an exploit where players could avoid being vote kicked by switching teams. Fixed an issue where players would be unable to resume game control if the controller disconnected and reconnected in any of the progression tab menus. Fixed various achievements on unlocking. I don't care about achievements. Based on player feedback, we did a comprehensive sweep through our achievements and found some irregularities to fix. Known issues. Main weapons spawn with the wrong skin. Good work. Enemies' weapons may appear invisible on the client on occasion. Alright, so that's saying they didn't fully fix the bug. Combo attack into jab will disconnect the other player. Great. Tenosian shields don't properly change faction when they are picked up. That's probably not a problem. Oil pots don't always consistently break. Unable to pick up sword when thrown if the skin is the cross hilt sword set. Well, that just sounds like a weapon skin problem. Jumping off a ladder and bouncing off a client can cause the player to get stuck in the falling animation. Players who have lost an arm and then block a projectile visually will have their arm return. Chase mechanic does not work on consoles. Xbox parties sometimes fail to migrate. Killing a player that's carrying a pig will cause it to float. Players will T-pose if picking up a thrown lance from a horse rider. Players may occasionally spawn in cavalry wave without a horse. Huh? How'd you mess that one up? Occasionally, player will be unable to mount horse after killing rider and the horse trots off. Dismounting a horse for the first time may shift perspective. Horses may have movement correction jitter on sloped stairs. Tenosian missing novelty items. Forward spawn may use a horse icon. Weapon stats are wrong. Item stats are wrong. Tenosian voices aren't playing. No message appears to let the player know they are not able to join a server when the player's party count exceeds the server player slots. Typing part of the server name does not cause other unrelated servers to disappear in the server browser. Dying on a horse causes the post-death UI to disappear. Crossbow switches hands when dismounting a horse while wielding one. Sounds are occasionally muffled. 1v1 arena may experience disconnects. Using battle cry may result in the battle cry not playing. Horned helmets can be equipped to Agatha or Mason Knights. Okay, so that's the whole patch notes. We went over all of it. We've gone over everything. Overall, I think this is good. This is a great step in the right direction. I sure hope there aren't new bugs added to this one. The Steam release really depends on it. I really hope they can iron things out and get that next update out soon, since the next update is going to have a lot of fixes and Steam to Epic progression tracking. For those of you who don't know, if I buy the game on Steam, when I have already played it on the Epic Game Store, I will not keep my progression until the next update where they let you switch between the two. So as of right now, if I buy the game and play it on Steam, I'm going to lose all of my progression, which, you know, whatever. Alright, so if you would like to see this test build, I will be streaming it tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. Hopefully it'll be fun. Hopefully it won't be broken. We'll see. I wasn't planning on streaming tomorrow since it's my day off, but I can do that for you guys. Certainly don't mind. Come on by, it'll be fun. And I'll probably make a video about it tomorrow as well, with gameplay included. And I'll talk about my thoughts and all that stuff. Alright, see you guys tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed.